I'm here talking to TOMIA, and more specifically to Nick Wennekers, who is VP of Product Management. And Nick is responsible for 3 lines of business, which are clearing, network roaming, and interconnect settlement, and importantly, the synergies between those 3 areas.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Nick.
Hi.
So my first question to you, Nick, is what are the opportunities and challenges now we're entering a post-pandemic world and a sort of return to normality?
Yeah, well, during the pandemic, what we saw is that the traffic dropped tremendously for operators, and slowly this is returning. So people starting to travel again. It's not like it was before, and it will not be for a very long time. But what we saw is that mainly the traffic that was generated by enterprises, the IoT traffic, that remained there. And what you see is that operators need to start learning how to monetize it, and they need to go from a situation where they were really focusing on cost control to really start competing again with their competitors. And they have a few challenges to do this. One is the rollout of new technologies. So with the rollout of VoLTE, 5G, and all these technologies, they really can start differentiating on connectivity there and turning this into new business models that can generate value to them. And the second thing is also the enterprise world. So previously they were focused a lot on consumers, retail, like you and me, when we're traveling abroad. But nowadays it's all about enterprise. How can I use the connectivity potential that I have to bring the right business model to the enterprises so that they will give me their traffic? I think this is the biggest challenge that they will have after the post-pandemic, because everybody believes that Internet of Things, A2P messaging and these kind of things, that's what really drive revenue for operators worldwide.
What is TOMIA doing in each of those 3 lines of business that you're responsible for? So clearing, network roaming and interconnect settlement.
Yeah, so I think what TOMIA is doing is we're really helping operators to manage this entire life cycle of a roaming and an interconnect agreement. So we are there to help them negotiating this agreement. We're helping them to really manage this in real time in the network. So really sending traffic to the network that they want to, and then settling this at the end. And what you see in this world right now, also with IoT coming and all of that, where previously you had one agreement with an operator to have a roaming agreement, for example. Now with this enterprise market, we expect that this will grow 4 to 6 times. So you no longer have one agreement, but you might have 4 to 6 agreements with different business model for specific type of traffic. I think this is where TOMIA plays a big role. We actually help operators on a single enterprise level or single device level to manage that device when they're in this roaming stage. And we're really extending our portfolio now with VoLTE solutions, with 5G solutions. So this is really on a product level. But then holistically what we do is we help operators to manage this entire life cycle and help them to automate it and simplifying it. We don't expect the top line revenues for operators to grow tremendously in the roaming side. But like I said, if you have 4 to 6 times more agreements, things are getting much more complex. And this is where TOMIA comes in, and where we help them with our product portfolio.
IoT roaming is becoming more relevant in the market, but there are still a few operators who don't like permanent roaming devices and are not convinced by the revenue models.
Yeah, I think the initial reaction, what you say is that if I get a permanent roaming device on my network, this is something that I should do myself. And typically what you see, these permanent devices that come onto your network, they're coming from enterprises, like smart meters in a country, right? They need global connectivity, they go to an operator outside, and now they're suddenly on your network, and they're there for the entire time. Then you think as an operator, okay, I should maybe go to this enterprise myself and offer my solution to them. But I think that's not necessarily what these enterprises are looking for. They want to go to one operator, and just that operator delivers to them worldwide coverage. So what we see more and more, and I think this is what we believe as well that operators should do, is that they start detecting what are those devices, putting some guardrails in place so that you manage those devices, and you give, for example, to your partner, you can maximum give me 5,000 devices on my network, and then you start monetizing those as well. So I start charging in a different way for that. So I think operators should start, I'm not saying embrace it, but they should at least open up the discussions with their partners, looking at what permanent roaming means to them, and try to maximize the revenues that can get out of that, and make sure that those enterprises come to their network.
So it's about collaboration, really, between operators.
I think so, yes. You will never capture the entire world, right? And an enterprise like a BMW will not go to every operator in every country. They just want one vendor that helps them, and you as an operator just make sure that that traffic comes to you so that you can maximize your potential.
And can you tell me how TOMIA is going to help mobile operators make the most of this IoT roaming opportunity?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it before, where I said, okay, we are managing the entire life cycle for you as an operator about agreement management, and we're doing the same thing for IoT roaming. So I think 2 years ago, I always say 2020, operators didn't even know what was on their network. For them, everything was a SIM card, and a minute was a minute, an SMS was an SMS, megabyte was a megabyte. Now, what we did first time is we brought visibility to them. So we immediately showed them what are the IoT devices on their network. And this helped them to understand, okay, I should maybe start negotiating separate agreements with my partners. So the next step, and I think this is really what happened last year, is that people start to rate that. So as TOMIA, we bring them the visibility, but we also give them the rating engines so that they can actually monetize this traffic and think about different business models that they negotiate with their roaming partners. And the third thing, what we are also doing in the IoT part, is we're helping operators with this specific connectivity. And in the future, when we talk about slicing and 5G, we will help them to drive this separate connectivity and differentiated connectivity in the market so that a BMW can have a different connectivity than a smart meter that comes into your house.
So the magic words there seem to me to be about different business models and different cases.
Yes, and therefore simplifying it and making sure that you can automate this. But it's exactly true. It's about different business models and making sure that you can manage that with the team that you have.
Nick, thank you so much.
You're welcome.